What up?
Hey.
There he is.
This is nice.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
All right. Question. Okay.
Hit me.
When you think of one key characteristic of a godly leader, what comes to mind?
Now humility. Now humility. Being able to know when you need to learn something and not always just trying to be a leader, but sometimes following someone else's lead.
Wow. That was pretty awesome.
Words of wisdom from Sam McLeod.
Words of that was perfect. That was awesome. Sweet.
Thank you.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Hello. I bought this for my first generation iPad mini because I don't have a screen protector for it. And I'm flying later today and I would like to use it on the airplane, so I figure need a screen protector. Yeah, I hope I don't mess this up. Final cleaning step and done. Today is day 149 in the vlog, and we're actually going to start out the vlog with the talking bit. Usually we have the kind of fluff stuff in the beginning, and then we are looking at Proverbs 13 through 15. So as we're going through the Proverbs, it's tricky going through a huge chunk of Proverbs in like one sitting, because you could really take one of these phrases, one of these Proverbs, and spend an entire sermon talking about all its implications and what it means for Christian living and how it points to the gospel. But, we're covering, 3 chapters worth of sayings in just a couple minutes. It's kind of like those videos online that you see, like most satisfying things. Just peeling that. Yeah. Anyways, like I was saying, it's tough to do these in a broad stroke. That being said, I do think that in each of these Proverbs there are sayings or a couple of verses that kind of help embody the general context of what is being said, even though there's a lot of different things being said by Solomon. For instance, in Proverbs 13, as I was reading it, I really felt like verses 14 through 15 kind of embody well this section. It reads, "The teaching of the wise is a foundation of life, that one may turn away from the snares of death. Good sense wins favor, but the way of the treacherous is their ruin." And what is happening in 13, as well as 14 and 15, if we can pull kind of one major theme from these 3 chapters, is that there is this importance of receiving correction, and when you are reproved, that you don't become angry or frustrated with whoever's reproving you, but that you heed their counsel. And this is, we talked about a couple days ago, but a huge distinction between, well, actually, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday, that there's a distinction between the wise and the fool based on, you can tell the distinction based on how they react to criticism. I love in chapter 14, it talks about, it seems, at least in a variety of contexts, both in things that are spoken as well as deeds and work ethic, that usually with the wise person there's this calm, patient, contemplative type of an attitude towards things, whereas with the fool, it's more of the opposite of those things. It's quick-tempered, doesn't really think through choices and decisions, just kind of reacts to things as they happen. And we see that here with these 3 chapters, but especially chapter 14. Chapter 15 kind of dives a little bit more into this idea of receiving correction. But one of the things that I thought was really interesting in chapter 15 is there are these better is sections. The better is sections. We find these in Proverbs. Have I said? I don't know how often I've said Psalms when I should have said Proverbs. I apologize about that. In Proverbs 15, verse 16 and 17, it says, "Better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble with it. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a fattened ox and hatred with it." So it's just kind of a unique and a different way, a genre of proverb here that Solomon is speaking, and I just thought it was interesting. But as I was reading these three proverbs, the fear of the Lord was catching my attention again. Back at the beginning, when we started Proverbs, I was saying in that vlog that, I think that this is something that is going to come up a lot, and something that we don't necessarily think is a major theme in Proverbs. But not only is it a major theme in Proverbs, but I think it's the purpose of Proverbs, the fear of the Lord. In these three chapters, well, really, it's not mentioned in chapter 13, but chapter 14 and 15, between those two chapters, it's mentioned 5 times. Verse 2 in chapter 14, verse 26 and 27, then in chapter 15, verse 16 and 33. And, just thinking another way of understanding really what the fear of the Lord is, I think, a good way to understand it is take, for instance, our culture today. Our culture prides itself today on being relative. And what that means is whatever is right for you is true, and whatever is right for me is true, even if those things are in conflict, that everyone has their own truth, and tolerance is the vehicle in which we interact with each other as we deal with a variety of truths. This is a major problem. It's a major problem for many reasons, but the biggest thing is when we understand the fear of the Lord in the context that we live today in our world, is the fear of the Lord really is the assurance of objective moral truth that we have, that we can live our life based upon in the midst of a world that says truth is relative. But when you have the truth of God's word and the truth that God and his word and his truth supersedes everything, then that grounds us and that causes us to have purpose and direction, not just as followers of Jesus, but as people. I just think it's so cool how this phrase, the fear of the Lord, that strikes a little bit of hesitancy within people, maybe because of the words that are used, really brings life to us as humans. That as we fear and honor and respect God and his word and his law and what he has set up, that it will be like the wise person that's experiencing life. And if we do anything opposite of that, if we claim this idea of relativism, we're going to be like the fool, and we're going to be significantly distraught and disappointed, and it will lead ultimately to our demise.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Going to the airport. Go ahead. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
Please wear a face mask or covering while in the airport.
Yeah, I've never seen the airport so empty. I've never seen an airport more empty. It's a little eerie of a feeling. This is welcome to LA.
Good, how
Hello.
are you?
What can I start for you?
Go ahead, Greg.
I'll do a double. Is that what that?
Double.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yes.
I was freaking out.
I know. I don't know what's going on.
Then one more hamburger with tomato and ketchup only.